Ferrari had a disastrous start to the 2023 Formula One season, with Charles Leclerc having to retire due to an electrical issue, while Carlos Sainz had to settle for fourth place due to lack of pace, after making certain modifications to improve reliability of the Ferrari power unit, and making substantial changes to the car's aerodynamic design. The Maranello-based team thought that it has the package to challenge Red Bull for both championships, but that does not seem to be the case. Both Ferraris were not at a competitive position for the win at Bahrain, and we think we have found the underlying problems of the SF-23. During pre-season testing, the Ferrari team was an outlier, minding their own business, doing their own run plans. They never exploited their true pace, which kept their rivals scratching their heads. But the Bahrain Grand Prix came last weekend, and we saw the true pace of the SF-23. The team had the second fastest car throughout the weekend, with a similar pace deficit to Red Bull as last season. Carlos Sainz, who finished fourth in the race, was 48 seconds behind race winner Max Verstappen, bemoaning high tire degradation during the entire Grand Prix. This points out two major problems underlying within the SF-23. When looking at the complex Ferrari's technical framework, it seems to be made up of two aspects. One is linked to the reliability of the Ferrari powertrain. The second is linked to the performance of the SF-23 during the race, which it lacked due to the deterioration of tires. First, let's do an analysis regarding the reliability problem that destroyed Charles Leclerc's race. The Scuderia announced the replacement of the energy store change on Charles Leclerc's SF-23 car just 2 hours before lights went out at Bahrain. But on lap 41, Charles Leclerc had to stop his car on the side of the track due to an electrical issue. The retirement came after the ERS battery system was replaced in the morning, which was also followed by the precautionary changeover of the ECU. But any of those precautionary changes didn't help Charles Leclerc. The problem came up again punctually, a sign that the EC is only the consequence and not the cause of all these troubles. The real problem that caused Leclerc's retirement was not the control unit, the cause was the program that puts the engine into protection when an electronic component failure occurs. It is very probable that there was a current dispersion in a wiring and suddenly the electronics failed, perhaps also due to the very strong vibrations on a track like Sakir, or to temperatures that may have affected a wire. We're talking about a failure that in Ferrari's history has often been used as an excuse for other problems, but it's a problem that hasn't been seen since for a long time. When asked Ferrari team principal about Leclerc's DNF at Bahrain, Vasseur told that the team has no idea about what the issue is, and they have not encountered anything like this even with the full tests they have conducted on the dyno back at the factory. Honestly, we don't know yet what's happened exactly, Vasseur told the media. There's been an issue in the morning, we changed the parts, we don't know where it's coming from and we'll have the investigation soon. But it's too early stage for me to give you a better answer. We never expected to have something like this because it's the first time that we had it, said Vasseur. We didn't face the same issue at all during the 6,000 or 7,000 kilometers that we did with the engines last week with the 3 teams. And we never had the same issue on the dyno throughout the winter. But again, we need to do a full investigation before to be able to give you a proper answer. Now, let's focus our attention on Ferrari's performance, which it was lacking to put up a competitive race at Bahrain. Ferrari had focused most of its winter development time on the front suspension of the SF-23. Despite having made a complete rework of the front end for the SF-23, the Ferrari car still has the same issue as its predecessor did: high tire degradation. During the race at Bahrain, both Ferraris of Leclerc and Sainz were not able to match the tire deg performance of the Red Bulls or even the Aston Martins. Ferrari's head of chassis area, Enrico Cardile, talked about the changes the engineers back at Maranello made to the SF-23 during the winter break. He particularly emphasized on the changes the team has made to the front suspension of the car. The suspension has also been redesigned to support aerodynamics and increase the range of adjustments that can be made to the car at the track. The most obvious changes are in the area of the front suspension where we have moved to a low track rod. The front wing is also different, as is the construction of the nose, while the bodywork is a more extreme version of what we saw last season. It is precisely on the front suspension. The Italian team has made major transformations of the SF-23. In the 2022 F175, the high steering box position between the two front suspension triangles connected the steering levers to the hub holders, creating aerodynamic interference. The tie rods have been integrated into the suspension system, improving the airflow directed towards the car belly and the underfloor. The car's center of gravity has been lowered thanks to the direct advantages on the dynamics of the SF-23 and by making roll adjustments to the front suspension. Even after making major changes to the front end of the car, the tire degradation problem, which existed on the F175, still has not been solved. One point to note is Bahrain is one of the 5 circuits of high tire wear. The prospects for the next Grand Prix at Jeddah might be entirely different for the SF-23 in terms of tire deg. As we quoted before, Enrico Cardal did specify on the changes made to the front suspension of the Ferrari car, changes made in particularly to accompany the aerodynamics, and to improve the car's adjustment capabilities. This aspect led to the engineers back at Maranello to revise the entire front suspension layout, but the team opted to remain with its tested pushrod suspension setting. The suspension of the SF-23 seems to be revised according to the new Pirelli compounds for 2023. The new 2023 Pirelli front tires have a stiffer structure solution, which reduces the drift angle and corners, which in theory should reduce the understeer aspect caused by the 2022 tires. Ferrari has designed a new front suspension solution with parallel triangles. This solution allows the car to maintain a constant tire inclination with respect to the tarmac. While this should mean better contact between the tire and surface, leading to better tire wear, we have not seen that particular benefit within the SF-23. At this point, Ferrari will have to prioritize the reliability problem that ruined Charles Leclerc's race at Bahrain. The power units are frozen till the new 2026 regulations kick in. Therefore, Ferrari has to make a written application to the FIA, which the FIA should approve, so that the team can intervene and correct any reliability concerns of the power unit. Then the team will have to overhaul the troublesome part of the engine, carry out all the bench tests for the engine once more to make sure the power unit is 100% reliable. Tire degradation problems. The team will have to access the SF-23 on different tracks to see if the issue is fundamental or to see if the issue is anything to do with the car's setup and balance. This is a time-consuming process, so till then, if the issue persists, the only thing Ferrari can do is damage limitation. Frédéric Vasseur told after the Bahrain Grand Prix that the tire degradation issue was expected, but the reliability is a big concern. After this first race, we have a clear picture of the situation and we know what areas we must work on. We have to improve a lot in terms of tire management, and clearly, we have to ensure we have no more reliability problems like the one that affected us today. One of the hardest pills to swallow is the truth. Ferrari are not at a championship winning position, considering the pace deficit and the reliability concerns they have. But what do you guys think? Is the reliability concern a one-off for Ferrari? Can the team turn up gears and improve the tire degradation problem? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.